Title: I was shocked when I received a compromising photo and a message from an unknown number. If you want to catch your cheating wife in the act, come to Bar X today at 6 p.m. I immediately rushed there and began to wait patiently. Chapter 1: The Message That Changed Everything. It was a quiet Thursday afternoon. I had just wrapped up a meeting and was driving home when my phone buzzed. No caller ID, just a text. If you want to catch your cheating wife in the act, come to Bar X today at 6 p.m. Attached: one photo. I nearly swerved off the road. The image wasn't graphic, but it was damning. There she was, my wife, Madison, sitting far too close to a man I didn't recognize, her hand resting lightly on his thigh, smiling. It was recent. She was wearing the same coat she'd left in that morning. For a moment, my hands trembled on the steering wheel, but only for a moment, because I'd always felt it in my gut. The missed calls, the cold distance in bed, the sudden work dinners, and now I had confirmation, not just whispers anymore. I took a deep breath, turned the wheel, and headed toward Bar X. I didn't call, didn't scream, didn't even cry, because the second I saw that photo, something inside me clicked. This wasn't the beginning of heartbreak. This was the beginning of strategy. And if they thought I'd fall apart, they didn't know who I really was. Chapter 2: The Waiting Game. I arrived at Bar X by 5:50 p.m. It wasn't a fancy place. Dim lights, sticky floors, the hum of small conversations buzzing around cheap drinks. The kind of place no one thinks to look for trouble. The perfect setting for secrets. I chose a back booth, far from the door, partially shadowed by a pillar. The bartender didn't even look twice when I ordered a Coke. No one does when you tip big and keep to yourself. At 6:03 p.m. the door opened, and I stopped breathing. Madison walked in. She wore her favorite red blouse, the one she knew made heads turn, and jeans she rarely wore around me anymore. She didn't come alone. The man from the photo walked in right behind her. Mid-30s, expensive jacket, confident smirk. Definitely not just a coworker. They sat 2 booths in front of me, near the wall. She giggled, as he whispered something in her ear and tucked her hair behind it like he owned her. And the worst part? She looked happy, not stressed, not guilty, not hesitant. She ordered a glass of wine. He reached for her hand, and I watched as she leaned in and kissed him, right there in public, like our vows never existed. Every nerve in my body wanted to burst forward and confront them, to scream, to demand answers, to flip the table. But I didn't. Instead, I took out my phone and started filming. Wide angles, close-ups, crystal clear evidence of betrayal. Let her try and lie her way out of this. I stayed for 20 minutes, long enough to capture what I needed, short enough not to lose control. Then I quietly slipped out the back. But I didn't go home. I had a new destination, my lawyer's office. And on the way there, I began planning something more than just a divorce. I was going to take everything she thought I'd be too weak to fight for. And I had the perfect plan. Chapter 3: Secrets Don't Stay Buried. The next morning, I met with my lawyer, Rachel. She had this way of cutting through emotion like a scalpel, precise, calm, and cold in all the right places. When I showed her the video and explained what happened, she didn't blink. "This," she said, tapping her pen on the screen, "is gold. But let me guess, you think this is just the surface?" I nodded. Madison was never the type to dive into chaos head first. If she was cheating this openly now, it meant the rot went deeper. Rachel leaned back. "We'll file the divorce quietly. No confrontation, no drama. Let her keep thinking she's in control. Meanwhile, we build leverage." That night, I couldn't sleep. So I started digging. Emails, cloud backups, her synced calendar. By 2 a.m., I had enough information to know three things. The man from the bar. His name was Tyler. He wasn't just some fling. He was my boss's business partner. Madison had access to confidential company emails because I'd trusted her with my devices. There were at least 4 other meetings with Tyler on her schedule over the past month, each conveniently while I was out of town for work. She wasn't just cheating, she was using me. My career, my connections, my resources, all while painting me as the oblivious husband. But I wasn't oblivious anymore. By Friday, I'd set up a data breach report, subtly highlighting Tyler's conflict of interest in our company, a private investigator to monitor their next date, a burner phone and fake email posing as someone threatening to expose them to see how she'd react. And most importantly, I made one final call to Tyler's wife. Her name was Dana. I'd met her once at a company dinner, briefly. Quiet, sharp, suspicious eyes. When I told her I had something to show her, she didn't ask a single question. She just said, "Send everything." I did. 10 minutes later, I got one word back. "Let's ruin them." Chapter 4. When the walls begin to crack. The following Monday, things started shifting, but quietly. Precisely how I wanted it. At 8:15 a.m., Tyler walked into the office, late for the weekly executive meeting. I was already seated, sipping coffee, calm as ever. Dana, his wife, had promised to wait until the perfect moment before detonating her side of the plan. That moment was coming soon. During the meeting, my boss announced an internal review of company communications after noticing potential irregularities, flagged by an anonymous source. Tyler's face twitched. I kept a poker face. My boss didn't know yet that his trusted friend and partner was sleeping with an employee's wife. Not yet, but the breadcrumbs were there. At noon, Madison texted me, "Dinner tonight? I feel like we've both been so busy lately." I almost laughed. This woman, who thought I knew nothing, was still playing house, still buying herself time. I replied, "Absolutely. You're right. I've missed you." Let her feel secure. Let her think I'm still wagging my tail like a trained dog. At 3:27 p.m., Dana sent me a video from her phone. Tyler had just walked into the bar again, same one from last time. Madison was already there. She kissed him, whispered in his ear. The audio picked up her words. "He's so pathetic. Still thinks we're in love. I'm gonna ride this out until I get the house in the divorce." I paused the video, took a deep breath, and sent it directly to Rachel, my lawyer. She replied in under 30 seconds, "We've got her." This is game over. But I wasn't done yet. That night at dinner, Madison smiled at me like nothing had happened, told me about her girls' spa day, laughed at my jokes, touched my hand and called me sweetheart. I nodded, smiled, played along. And as we sipped wine together, I leaned in and said, "You know, Mads, it's funny. You used to be such a terrible liar." Her smile twitched. "Excuse me?" I sat back, calm, cold. "But now you're impressive, almost professional. It's a shame your boyfriend's wife is even better at gathering evidence." For a second, just a second, her eyes widened in terror. Then I stood up, left the check on the table, and walked out without another word. By morning, she'd be locked out of our shared accounts. By next week, she'd be served. And by next month, she'd be a case study in how to burn every bridge in your life with a match you thought was harmless. Chapter 5. The night everything fell apart. The morning after our final dinner, Madison tried calling me 6 times. I didn't answer. By noon, her phone was flooded with transaction declines. Her gym membership? Canceled. Credit card? Frozen. Streaming services? Gone. She messaged me, "Hey, something's wrong with the accounts. Can you check?" I replied with a single sentence, I suggest you check your inbox instead. That inbox contained 3 things: a formal notice from my lawyer, filing for divorce on grounds of adultery, complete with video evidence of her infidelity, an itemized list of assets and accounts I'd reclaimed, all in accordance with our prenup. A personal letter, not angry, just brutally clear. It ended with, "You made your choice. Now you get to live with it. I wish you all the happiness you once faked with me." By 4 p.m., I received an alert that Madison had been removed from our shared home address and residency documentation. Legally, she no longer existed in my life. But the final domino? That was Tyler. At 5:30 p.m., Dana made her move. She walked into our company's quarterly stakeholders mixer, flawless in a black dress, with a USB drive and an iron smile. She walked straight up to our CEO, handed him the USB, then nodded toward Tyler across the room, schmoozing with investors. The video on that drive? Tyler and Madison, at the bar, at the hotel, at the house. Clear faces, clear audio, everything time-stamped. Less than an hour later, security walked Tyler out. The CEO didn't even look at him. The board voted unanimously to terminate all partnerships with his firm. His name? Erased from every document. I watched from across the street, sipping coffee in my car. Poetic. Chapter 6. The Aftermath. 2 days later, I received a voicemail from an unknown number. It was Madison. She sounded wrecked. "You win, okay? I messed up. I messed everything up. Please just talk to me. I have nowhere to go." Tyler cut me off. "I'm staying at a friend's place, but please just talk to me." I saved the message. Didn't reply. 3 hours later, a text came from Dana. "He's begging for a second chance. Crying. Pathetic. Want me to forward his apology video?" I replied, "No need. I already know how empty his words are." Madison sent 19 emails over the next week, all unread, all archived. She even showed up at my office building once, eyes puffy, voice trembling. My assistant handed her a printed response. "Please direct all further communication through my legal counsel. Have a good day." She didn't return again. Epilogue. What peace looks like. It's been 8 months. The divorce was finalized. The house sold for a generous profit. I bought a new place. Smaller, quieter, mine. Tyler's firm collapsed. Dana, now thriving, started a non-profit for women who've been emotionally manipulated by high-power partners. As for Madison, she moved cities. Last I heard, she was couch surfing, trying to find herself. Sometimes, late at night, I listen to that first voicemail again, not out of pain, out of closure. Because for the first time in years, my life is quiet. No lies, no masks, just freedom. I'm not a trained dog. I'm the one who walked away, calm, powerful, and unshaken, while they screamed in the rubble they built themselves. They laughed at him, betrayed him, thought he'd never stand up for himself. But when he finally did, they never saw it coming. And now, they live in the wreckage of their own choices. If this story gripped you like it did me, don't leave just yet. Like this video if you believe karma always finds its way. Subscribe to the channel for more jaw-dropping stories of betrayal, revenge, and unexpected justice. And if you've ever been underestimated like this, share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. And your story might just be the next one we tell. This is Lauren's story, where silence isn't weakness. It's the calm before the storm. See you in the next episode.